Hello and welcome back to Custom Gamer. My name is Des and this is the show where we talk about level design while playing cool maps. This is part 9 of Ambushville, the final map in the pack. It is called Train Stopping by Mark Allen, aka Officer B. And in nice order in the pack, this was my second favourite map just after Third Watch, which we looked at previously. This one's got some really fun mechanics in it and some great presentation, so you're kind of thrown through the 6 steps of blowing up a train. It feels like some kind of rehabilitation routine almost. You've got these different steps you have to do, but it's a nice bit of presentation. It's kind of fun. It keeps the player moving forward. You really want to find out what the next steps are. And then you're presented into this giant open landscape. There's loads of kind of caches of supplies that you can find like this, strewn all over the place, just full of health and shield pickups, which we're definitely going to need, as things do get quite crazy in this map once everything starts spawning in. I really like the open nature of it. It's one of those maps where I would have been tempted to add a lot of visibility blocking, things like walls or cliffs and rocks and things like that. But I think this map has a really interesting vibe to it, where there's not a lot of that. There's a couple of cliffs and rocks here and there, but generally the map is just super open. You can see really far, which changes the gameplay quite a lot. You end up using the crossbow most of the time. If you're not using the crossbow, you're normally using an AR2 or a Magnum or something, because generally enemies are quite far away. It's fairly easy to kind of avoid close range engagements. One point of note here is that there's a lot of shotgun enemies in this map, which is quite fun. It means you can kind of take them out at a distance, but they get very dangerous when they get up close. But you have a lot of time to kill them before they get close, so it's really your fault if they do manage to sneak up on you. I like the fact that you can see some of these contraptions before you go into the building. It's kind of a piece of something that stands out in the level a lot, so the player pays attention to it before they're really directed to. And suddenly the ambush. So one really cool piece of I suppose presentation in this map is the huge arcs that the headcrab canisters take when they get flung into the arena. It's very I suppose epic is the word. You just got like 10 or 20 headcrab canisters just flying in from the horizon. It looks really cool. One of the things that really impressed me about this map. So this initial ambush here is very unforgiving. You really do have to stock up on health and shields to maximum to really survive that. It's perhaps a criticism you can make at the map, is that the initial encounter is just balls to the wall hard. Once you dispatch the first wave of combined soldiers, things tend to calm down a little bit. Now, on my first time playing this map, it really didn't occur to me that you could throw these explosives at the helicopter. Unfortunately, it doesn't work to blow it up. You have to use its own bombs against it later on. But that could have been quite fun as a way to take out the helicopter. I suppose it would have screwed up this puzzle segment here, though. You might run out of explosives in order to place on the track. So you can see here you kind of got the ghost outline of where you need to place the explosives. I mean, this is okay. I mean, you've got to remember that these maps were all made in 10 days, so some of the stuff here is very quick and dirty in all of the maps, really. But something I would have liked here, instead of just having the ghost outlines, would be some kind of cubicle that you could slot the explosives into. It probably feel just more in tune with what Half-Life is as a game, but you know, you can't really criticise that too much with the very severe time limit on this competition. But I like the fact that the mechanics are fairly kind of wide open with how you place the explosives into the receptacles there. You can just punt them with the gravity gun, and if they get close they'll just snap into place, which is quite fun. It feels really good to do that. On my first playthrough of this map, I was moving the explosives to the receptacles manually, like without using the gravity gun. I have no idea why. I think my brain just fell off for my first playthrough here. Of course, doing it like this is so much easier because you can kind of throw the explosives ahead of you. They can't actually be blown up by, you know, gunfire or random explosions or anything like that, so you're perfectly safe to do it this way. I really like the fact that you've got this constant menace from the gunship as well. There's no way for you to deal with it right now, so you just have to kind of avoid it as best you can. So it feels really, really good to kill it later on because it's been bugging you for so long. Now it would have been very, very frustrating to have such a huge open map like this if you didn't have kind of sand dunes and things like that to hide behind to actually avoid some damage from the helicopter. So luckily there are kind of pools of water you can hide in and various other visibility blockers that you can use if you're quick. You can even use the explosive canisters that you're flinging around the arena. You can use them as kind of a bullet shield. It works really, really well. It doesn't feel too natural to do that, kind of hold the explosives up to the helicopter that's shooting at you. It doesn't sound too safe, but it does work. Get some more supplies here. There are occasional instances of kind of extra combine being thrown into the arena. It can be a little bit buggy though, things like combine repelling out of thin air. Doesn't really happen that much, but it is a little rough around the edges. It's not too bad, the actual gameplay is intact, it's just the presentation that suffers a little bit there. They are punting some explosives into position. Now I noticed I've got 2 more up there that I need to place. And it took me a little while to find where I'd left the extra explosives, so we're just going to skip to that part now. Here we go. So there's some explosives just laying on the ground behind the building. The players probably noticed when they walked in, but once all this action starts happening you kind of forget about these little things. But yeah, there's plenty of them back here that you can use. Shotgunners sneaking up on me now. So I like that the explosive receptacles are kind of quite close to the building that all the explosives are hidden in. It could have been really, really annoying to have to traipse up the entire track to the other end of the map with the explosives, but luckily most of them are fairly close. This is the farthest you have to travel, thank God. Just need one more to slot in here. Here we go. Using it to block the projectiles there. Now once all the explosives are placed, like so, stage 4 triggers, and you get this amazing show of big crab canisters flying into the arena again. Now things get quite mad. There's combined soldiers teleporting in at either side. Then you've just got 150 different head crabs running around as well. And the helicopter goes into overdrive, just throwing explosives absolutely everywhere as well. It's very, very common to kind of run around and just see head crabs? What the hell's a head crab? I don't know. A head crab just flying up in the air in front of you, where it's been exploded by all these bombs. My only issue with this stage of the map is that the helicopter can sometimes kind of fly away from you really, really far. You have to kind of chase after it running around, and it can be a little bit much. I think it would have been nice to have a smaller track that it flew around on. Again, I'm not very experienced with helicopter AI. I'm guessing it uses something similar to the gunship, the combine gunship, so you set tracks for it to follow. So it can be fairly tricky for it to follow the player, I suppose. But yeah, there's certainly instances where it just takes off to the other side of the map all of a sudden. It can be pretty frustrating to chase after it. And I'm very low on health right now, so I'm kind of trying to find all these health pickups which I may have missed. There's stuff lying around on the ground absolutely everywhere. There's guns, grenades, absolutely everything except health and armor. Here we go. Feeling a little bit better now. Now again, on my first playthrough it didn't really click that I had to use the gunship's own bombs to kill it. Again, it's been a very long time since I've played the stock maps in Half-Life 2 or its episodes, so I'm a bit rusty on these mechanics honestly, so it took me quite a while to remember what to do the first time playing through this. But yeah, it makes sense for Half-Life veterans that aren't as forgetful as me. And you've occasionally got to worry about the Combine soldiers that spawn in as well. Gonna go into the danger zone again now. Skybox is great here. It's simple, but it just works, you know. You can see all the way to the horizon with the water. Something I really should have done in Lost at Sea. My skybox was absolutely terrible in that map. This is how I should have done it here. I think we were talking about it a bit on the Planet Phillip podcast as well. But this is a great skybox. Really, it's really hard to see the transition between map to skybox, which is exactly what you really want to go for. You shouldn't be able to spot the transition. And there we go. That feels so good to finally take out the chopper at the end. Stage 5, wait for the train. And here it comes. It's really satisfying to see the train just explode and come off the rails at the end. It's a nice payoff for finishing the map. I was kind of worried that it would just fade out, you know, once you place all the explosives, but no, you get a nice payoff here. Great to see. And that is that. So that's all of Ambushville done now. I'm going to go back and do some Quake videos now because there's been a couple of releases. But I'm going to throw up a compilation Ambushville video where you can just select which video to watch from a grid. So I'll be doing that pretty soon. I'll see you next time.